Events this week have been history-making, but they did not happen in a vacuum. Violent protests after a police killing are a reminder of an uprising more than 50 years ago and speak to an underlying issue in that city. A reminder, too, of how far we've come and how far we still have to go. Tom Lydon takes a look.
It will be remembered as the night Minneapolis burned. The night's simmering tensions and seething resentments finally boiled over. What began 48 hours earlier with the death of an unarmed, handcuffed man, George Floyd, and demonstrations that were, for the most part, peaceful, metastasized on Wednesday evening into rioting and looting. The Target store and Cub Foods, the only grocery stores in this neighborhood, were destroyed. An affordable housing complex for low-income residents burned to the ground. As the violence spread from the 3rd Precinct, down Lake Street, into wealthier zip codes, to Uptown, where a jewelry store was destroyed, cleaned out, same for a pharmacy, and broken windows everywhere. As if the rioters were saying, this is no longer our problem. We are making it yours too.
I believe in Minneapolis. I love Minneapolis.
When an emotional mayor spoke today, he tried to put the night in a historical context.
Of so much built-up anger and sadness. Anger and sadness that has been ingrained in our black community, not just because of 5 minutes of horror, but 400 years.
And it's not the first time the city's burned. July 1967. It was Plymouth Avenue on the north side that went up. The National Guard was called in. This, too, a response to Minneapolis police. More than 50 years later, history was simply repeating itself last night. The kindling has been here for so long. In a progressive, liberal city that is also one of the most segregated in the nation, where African Americans are disproportionately the victims of crime and disproportionately incarcerated. But as more than 30 fires burned in the city, as anarchy seemed to reign, it seemed as though police were nowhere to be found. They were busy defending the 3rd Precinct with tear gas and rubber bullets. Given the history, how could city leaders not anticipate something like this?
I know that there is currently a deficit of hope in our city. And as I wear this uniform before you, I know that this department has contributed to that deficit of hope, but I will not allow to continue to increase that deficit by re-traumatizing those folks in our community.
The police chief believes there are outside agitators who may be responsible for some of the violence. Those who don't care about George Floyd or the cause, but simply see an opportunity for mayhem. This week, it's getting hard to know the good guys from the bad.
Amazing grace.
And just as the coronavirus appears to be peaking in Minnesota, there is another virus. This one has been with us a long time. Its symptoms on full display last night. Tonight, we are still looking for a vaccine or a cure, and it still seems both are so far out of reach.